American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. A police spokesman says soft on crime New York City District Attorney Alvin Bragg's decision to charge a convenience store worker with murder for stabbing an ex-convict in self-defense is inexplicable and shocking. 61-year-old Jose Alba was arrested on a second-degree murder rap and initially held on a $500,000 cash bail for the July 1st killing of ex-convict Austin Simon, who came into the store behind the counter and attacked him. Joe Gimaldi is National Vice President of the Fraternal Order of Police.
But this is the utopian New York City that DA Alvin Bragg promised everyone. So he's cutting sweetheart deals for murderers, rapists, robbers that has contributed to the 40% increase in violent crime. And now this case of Jose Alba, who was viciously attacked, choked, he defends himself, and now he's charged with murder. Murder. But wait, it gets better. The girlfriend of the attacker actually stabbed Jose Alba, and she's not even being charged right now. I mean, this is completely insane.
A prominent Southern Baptist pastor seemed to want to tamp down his congregation's joy over the Supreme Court tossing their Roe v. Wade decision. Steve Jordahl reports he was afraid of offending those in his congregation who might not agree with the momentous decision.
The former head of the International Missions Board, David Platt, delivered the remarks at his McLean Bible Church in Virginia on the Sunday after the High Court handed down the decision pro-lifers had been working for and praying for and longing for almost 50 years. Platt opened his sermon with this.
Today I feel the sensitivities and emotions and questions and concerns that I know are represented around this gathering.
He went on to mention multiple concerns that could be represented in his church, including those who may have had an abortion for convenience sake, the vast majority of abortions are, and resent the joy that pro-lifers rightly felt.
The woman who, for a variety of social, relational, or economic reasons, feels like she cannot care well for a child and sees abortion as her only hope. And she's seeing so many people, and particularly Christians, happy. God, help us to honor her and every woman in every way that God himself does.
Biblical apologist Alex McFarland says Platt started going woke a while ago.
He was struggling to articulate this fine diplomatic line where he made every conceivable provision to accommodate every conceivable perspective.
McFarland points out that most of the sermon was good, and he agreed with all the main points. I'm Steve Jordahl.
A conservative columnist says Christians must be prepared to respond to the general insanity that seems to have befallen our culture by depending on the real cure, Jesus Christ.
Robert Knight is a columnist for the Washington Times and a senior fellow for Bishop E.W. Jackson, Staying True to America's National Destiny. His latest column is entitled A Lofty Fight Against the Left's Godless Modernity.
I wrote this column in response to the general insanity that seems to have befallen our culture, from mass shootings to teaching little kids about trans identities to professional athletes dissing the American flag. I mean, you can go on and on. There's something wrong with the culture.
Knight then delved into what is the cure.
The real cure, of course, is Jesus Christ, and stemming from that, a Christian influence in the culture. And if you take it further, if the culture is expressly anti-Christian, not just neutral, but anti-Christian, and thereby lawless, then it's every Christian's duty to first get involved, try to reform the culture, form an alternative culture, and if all else fails, engage in civil disobedience.
Knight says some Democrats left their party when Ronald Reagan offered a sunnier view of America's future. And now, during the Biden disaster, many more are waking up and fleeing a party that has morphed into a Marxist mess. I'm Chad Groening.
American Family News is online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Here at KNVBC, we're very grateful to the American Family Radio for allowing us to broadcast their Christian news free of charge. And we encourage you to listen to this brief word from AFA.
This is Debbie Wuthnow, president of iVoterGuide.com. The media and candidates may not provide reliable information, allowing you to vote wisely and preserve your religious, political, and economic freedoms. iVoterGuide.com researches thousands of candidates across the nation, gathering scorecards, donation records, endorsements, and candidate questionnaires. Go to iVoterGuide.com to get factual information. That's iVoterGuide.com.
Good morning. This is July the 12th.
Morning by morning, new mercies I see.
Sanctified by God the Father, Jude 1. Sanctified in Christ Jesus, 1 Corinthians 1:2. Through sanctification of the Spirit, 1 Peter 1:2. How unwisely do those believers talk who make preferences in the persons of the Trinity. They think of Jesus as if he were the embodiment of everything lovely and gracious, while the Father they regard as severely just and destitute of kindness. Equally wrong are those who magnify the decree of the Father and the atonement of the Son so as to depreciate the work of the Spirit. In deeds of grace, none of the persons of the Trinity act apart from the rest. They're as united in their deeds as in their essence. In their love toward the chosen, they are one. In the actions which flow from the great central source, they are still undivided. Especially notice this in the matter of sanctification. While we may without mistake speak of sanctification as the work of the Spirit, we must take heed that we do not view it as if the Father and the Son had no part therein. It is correct to speak of sanctification as the work of the Father, of the Son, and of the Spirit. Jehovah said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." And thus we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. See the value which God sets on real holiness. You, as the follower, must also set a high value on holiness, on purity of life and godliness of conversation. Let us begin today to live in a manner which will manifest the work of the triune God in us.
Morning by morning, new mercies I see.
Join us each day at this time for Morning by Morning, daily devotionals by Charles Spurgeon, read by Brother Ed Russ.
This is Wendy Jo Householder
and Katie Pegram from Louisville, North Carolina.
We love KNVBC Revival Radio.